Welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to take a look at a Klein MODbox system, and this is pretty exciting because I think it's going to tie into some of the other tools that we've been looking at here on the channel. So let's get this bad boy open and see what it's like. Okay, so just a quick look at the box. You can see we're going to have 1/4 inch, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, half and 9/16, all in MODbox, and it shows how it's a 1/4 inch drive, and then it also shows kind of how the system goes together. It's also impact rated, which all of this stuff is, and you'll have a few components that can go together there. So let's take a look at this thing. First impressions, the box is actually reasonably decent. Now I know this is designed, see the hook on it here, this is designed to clip onto other mod boxes, and I think also their version of the pack out, which I haven't decided if I'm going to get any of that yet. The latch is spring-loaded, you can see that, and the case is relatively sturdy. It's got some measuring things on the back there. Opens up nicely. Presentation is decent. It's relatively easy to pull components out of it. Here's your ratchet. Now let's take a look at the ratchet here first off. It's a 1/4 inch ratchet. It has a locking tab on it, which I really do like. The paw reverse feels pretty good. Does it say how many teeth it is? I don't see how many tooth it says that it is, but it feels nice. It feels sturdy. Sometimes these things don't feel the best. It is not chromed, it's black, but that might actually be better in some cases. If you're in a lot of oil, it might have a little bit more grip to it. You can see it comes very well lubricated. Sounds decent. Now this is the quintessential piece for this set to make it work, because the sockets are unique. So that locks on there, and then you take a look, you see there's this outer spline tooth on there. That will become relevant in a future video. But here's your adapter for your sockets. I think we looked at this before. You can see it's got that spline drive, and then these sockets are deep sockets. I don't know if you recall, I said in other videos that I kind of was wishing they'd have deep sockets. Well, sure enough they do. They just don't have all of the sizes I'd like to see just yet, if I could get this to focus. But this will go on here just like that, and then you have a deep socket. Now it's kind of extra long because of it being a flip socket, but it's quick to do. Pull one off, put it in. It's pretty quick to change over, and it is pretty deep. Let's see how deep it goes. So we are into the magnet tip, and we have, let's get out some sort of measuring device. We have about 1 inch there, or 2.5 centimeters if you're in Europe. Yeah, I'd call that about 1 inch. So that's kind of nice. It's deep enough that it's worthwhile, that you're not going to have a lot of issues, and you can see where that's setting. You could probably cheat this forward if you needed to. I still have engagement up to, I have decent engagement up to here, and then at which case, what do we have there? Let's get our tape measure back out. We have a good just about 2 inches. It's probably like 5 centimeters, because 5 centimeters is right under 2 inches, so you're like 2 7/8 ish, 15/16, which isn't bad. So I don't know that this would hold on here great if you did that. I did misspeak. I said I pushed into the magnet. You can see this does not have a magnet on it. So it doesn't really need it, so that makes sense that it wouldn't. So there's that size, your 1/4 and 5/16. Let's get out the 3/8 and 7/16. See how that looks on there. About as you would expect. 7/16. Now I'm just holding and loading the ratchet. It seems like it's relatively smooth. Let's get out the 1/2 and 9/16. That did not go to, I guess that's as far as it goes. So there you have it. You know, it's a little bit bulkier, but like we've been saying, all of these tools are compromise tools, and you got to give a little to get the flexibility. Now this is intended to be your driver for the impact gun. So you have your impact gun, and you put your tip on the impact gun like that, and you put your socket on there, and just like that you have a deep 9/16 on an impact. And if you notice, it does a little bit of twirling. It's out there, you know, there's some loose bits, but with this length you can get into stuff, and you can also store, let me see if I can get it on there. You can store at least one other socket on there, and if you're changing between multiple sizes, you can easily do that. So it's a pretty nice flexible system. Now, we've been looking at other stuff in this line. Let's just see what all we can get into. So, we know right off the bat, you can see that this is the longest extension that came in the other set. It has a magnet on it. You can see this one does not have a magnet. But it's all kind of universal, right? So you can slide these on here, and you could even have that over the top there and use the magnet with this socket. So I was kind of wondering why there was a detent up here. It didn't really make sense to me at the time, but it certainly makes sense now. That is so you can use your magnet with the deep sockets if you so choose to. If we get the focus there. So there's a magnet on the 9/16. Let's try it on the 1/4, because that one's really going to show how that's going to work. And there you go. You can get that lined up relatively well, and it looks like, just like this other set, the 1/4 overshoots, and you can put a screwdriver tip on it. So you can even use this 1/4 inch to drive a screwdriver if you want. So if I flip this around, the 5/16 is probably a little bit closer to where it needs to be. Just like that. So pretty neat. Somebody was thinking when they designed this stuff, and then you can have whatever extension you need, and then obviously you put it on the other way from this end, and you have your deep socket. Now you can, and here's where I kind of would like to see, you have your nut driver set, deep nut driver. That's pretty handy, and this is the size I'd really like to see in that. Your 11/32 and 3/8. That's not in this set, but all things take time, I guess. This is not retained on there that well, I will say that. So I wonder if they would prefer you to... What does that do to our depth? That's flush with the bottom there. I don't know if you see that. Let's see what happens when you pull it through. Yeah, so that's standing proud in there. That isn't going to pull off, but you aren't a deep socket anymore. So the detent's not the strongest on this one. Oh, that direction's a little better. I guess it just depends on where you have it on. But some of these aren't as strong as you would think. If you're using these and this is a problem, let me know in the comments below. I'm kind of curious on how all this new stuff is going to work together. Now, with this ratchet and a set like this, we should be able to snap any of these on here and have that size socket. So there's your 3/4. It doesn't sit flush like it does with these. You can see inside. Let's go to 9 so you can see it. You can see inside there, that's flush. If you put this 3/4 on there, it stands proud a little bit, but it's held on there. So you could use this as a 3/4 ratchet, and you could use it as metric ratchet. Here's a 13 mil. There you go, 13 mil on there. Again, the shaft thing is standing a little proud, but it'll work. Again, with this system, it seems like versatility and interchangeability is kind of what they're going for with the whole thing, and I really like that. So it leaves you options in what you're doing to play around with things, whether you want to have it on an impact gun, or you want to have it on a ratchet, or you want to have it on a screwdriver handle. You can use all the same tools to achieve whatever method you're going for. So there's your super long nut driver, just like that. Or if you didn't want to do it that way, you could do it any other which way. You know, you could put, we saw the 3/4 on there. You get the idea. Pretty much any of this. If you wanted to do a stubby, you could do a stubby. You have lots and lots of options with kind of very little space taken up, really, in your tool bag. There's kind of the full stuff that I have here, and it's really not a super space consuming thing. Well, kind of neat. It's a really interesting system. You'll see there's some versatility built into this part yet. It's got your 1/4 inch square drive, and it's also got this interesting ribbing here on the outside. That'll become evident later. We have some more of this stuff coming, so hopefully this was interesting. I find this stuff kind of fascinating. I like versatility of stuff and trying to lighten up my tools. There's just, you know, you always carry so much, it gets to be a lot after a while. So this may be an option to keep things versatile and light. So if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I'd like to make one final observation on this, and it is that everything in here is retained very well, but not too well. That's something that can really make using one of these things, the boxes, very cumbersome. And this isn't bad at all. It all comes out relatively easily. Nothing is very hard to get out. So you can see it all just kind of comes right out. The ratchet is the only one that kind of gets a little hung up if you try and lift it up, because it binds in the hole that they have for it, but that's understandable. So you got to go straight up with the ratchet, that's all. But everything else is really well thought out, and it's not holding too hard, but it is holding. So I don't know how long this will last, but it seems like it's well put together. And the lid has detents in it for all of these tools, so that when you close it, nothing shakes loose. It doesn't come loose and bang around inside there. So just a final observation on this. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great day. And if you want to see more on this stuff, consider subscribing. Catch you in the next one.